challenges, in our opinion, seem to have overwhelmed our security institutions.
The governors are supposed to be the state security officers of their state.
There is need for us to at least engage the traditional rulers.
We need to do something about our porous borders.
We have to own it from the unit level to the ward level to the local government to state.
Mr. President, the importance of today for us is for us to take action.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
It means that Nigeria is one of the largest producers of cassava in the world, but the value chain has not really taken into account.
Senate lends support to the promotion of cassava value chain.
The outcomes are there for everybody to see. Whatever we would have achieved wouldn't have been achieved without the National Assembly Commission.
And Senate President commends National Assembly Service Commission for placing high premium on staff training. Compliment of the season, I am Hussaina Amina Aboki, welcoming you to Inside the Senate. The program this week contains reports on bills that scaled second and third readings before the Senate recessed for the Easter and Eid-El-Fitr break, alongside harmonized reports of conference committees of the Senate and House of Representatives. Other reports are on the confirmation of presidential nominees as members of the Universal Service Provision Board, as well as a courtesy call on the Senate President by the management team of the National Assembly Service Commission. Stay tuned for the details after this short break. Please don't go away.
The Senate to send a message to the President
to reap opportunities from that.
Today is a matter of urgent public importance, and we are aware that when this particular motion comes up
for a longer term development, arise to second the motion.
Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Welcome back. The Senate, before the Easter and Salah break, considered reports of committees that worked on bills slated for third reading. The bills, which are agriculture related, seek to impact positively on the sector, create jobs and wealth, amongst other objectives. Let's get details as compiled and presented from our studio.
This bill is designed to sort out that particular kind of problem.
One of the bills is the Cassava Flour Mandatory Inclusion in Flour Production Bill 2023, sponsored by Senator Abdullahi Adamu and read second time on Tuesday the 2nd of February 2023. The Chairman Senate Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development, which worked on the bill, Senator Yahaya Abdullahi, gave a synopsis of the bill.
The main objective of the bill actually is to create a sustainable market and proper production conditions, for cassava value chain. Through public hearing and all the normal procedures, and during the public hearing, all the institutions and relevant stakeholders agreed that this is the way to go, and then we recommend that the Senate will consider and pass the bill to provide for legal and regulatory framework for the inclusion of cassava flour in edible flour production to encourage cassava farming, create a stable market for cassava flour, and for other related matters connected therewith. This bill is very important because if it is passed, it will mean that Nigeria is one of the largest producers of cassava in the world, but the value chain has not really taken into account, its use in our industrial processes.
Commenting on the bill, Senate President Ahmed Lawa recalled the importance attached to cassava flour by the Obasanjo administration, which initiated the inclusion of 10% cassava flour input in bread production in Nigeria.
Eventually, this policy, because then it was a policy, never saw the light of the day. The idea is we can create wealth by so doing, because our cassava growers will now have a guaranteed market, and of course, we will also be eating from what we produce, just like President Buhari will always say, we should eat what we produce and produce what we eat. I hope that this bill, Mr. President, will give an assent to it so that we ensure that it is implemented because it's going to be really a source of wealth and, of course, employment opportunities for our teeming youth across the country.
It is plenary on Tuesday, 22nd February.
Two other bills presented by the Agri Committee Chairman for consideration and passage after third reading sought the establishment of agriculture-related institutions. The institutions are Nigeria Research Institute of Fisheries and Aquaculture, Bakazi, Cross River State, Establishment Bill 2023, sponsored by Senator Gershon Bassi, as well as the Federal College of Agriculture, Ishiorun, Ekiti State, Establishment Bill 2023. Senator Yahya Abdullahi in his report said after second reading of the bills, they were referred to the Joint Senate Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development as well as TETFON. He spoke on some of the actions taken on the bills.
We also went through the normal legislative processes, including public hearing, and the unanimous opinion of public hearing is that the institution needs to be established and that the site recommended for its establishment is a proper site for that work to be done. We recommend that the Senate do consider and pass the bill for an act to establish the Institute for Fisheries and Aquaculture, Bakassi, Cross River State, for other related matters therewith, 2003, Senate Bill 116. This bill was sponsored by distinguished Senator Biodun Olujimi, Ekiti South, and it was read the second time and referred to the committee on 5th April 2022. And the highlights of the normal procedures we follow, including the public hearing, have been done, and it was recommended that this this institution be set up in its recommended location. So the recommendation here is that the Senate do consider and pass the bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal College of Agriculture, Ishiorun, Ekiti State.
With no debate taken on the bills, they were considered clause by clause in the Committee of the Whole and read a third time and passed.
8, 9, and 10 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it.
We will now open our notebook segment to examine the procedures for the passage of a bill into law. Please stay tuned for the details.
A bill is a legislative proposal laid before the legislature for a law or for a change of an existing law through an amendment. For a bill to become a law, it is first presented to the Senate for first reading. At this stage, no debate is taken. This is followed by a second presentation of the bill on another day, during which it is debated by senators for or against. At the end of the debate, the bill either scales second reading or is rejected. If it scales second reading, it is referred to the appropriate committee for more legislative input. This may include public hearing, during which it will be open to contributions by the public for or against. The committee later submits a report on it to the Senate. The report is perused clause by clause in the Committee of the Whole for observations by senators. At the end, the bill scales third reading and passed.
Welcome back. Inside the Senate, we'll now continue with a review of more activities as plenary before the short break taken for the Easter and Salah. One of these is the consideration of the Conference Committee report on the control of the proliferation of Arms and Light Weapons Commission, Establishment Bill 2023. Let's take the report as compiled and presented from our studio.
The House of Representatives at plenary passed the bill.
Given a historical background on the bill, the chairman of the Conference Committee, Senator Chukwuka Utazi, stated that the House of Representatives passed the bill on the 8th of December 2022, while the Senate passed it earlier on the 26th of July 2022, but with differences.
Consequently, a conference committee was constituted by both the Senate and the House of Representatives on Thursday, 18 January 2023, and Wednesday, 2021, December 2022, respectively, to harmonize the differences. The conference committee considered both versions of the bills, made critical observations on the differences, and resolved the areas of conflict. On behalf of members of the conference committee, we wish to thank the Senate and the House of Representatives for the opportunity given us to resolve the areas of differences in this very important bill and recommend its expeditious adoption by this distinguished honorable chamber. We so move. Thank you so much.
No debate was taken as a result. The report was considered clause by clause in the committee of the whole, leading to the adoption of the report.
Those against any the
conference committee, after due consultation with the conferees, considered and harmonized the following clauses.
Next to be considered was the Conference Committee report on a National Center for Women Development Act 2004 Amendment Bill 2023. One of the main objectives of the bill is to enhance the functions of the center and rename it after the wife of former President Ibrahim Babangida, Hajia Mariam Babangida. According to the committee chairman, Senator Betty Upiafi, the Senate passed the bill on Tuesday the 22nd of November 2022, while the House of Representatives passed it on Thursday the 19th of January 2023, all with some differences. She gave the components that were harmonized under their various clauses.
Clause 1, establishment of the Center for Women Development. Clause 2, establishment of the Governing Council. Clause 5, functions of the Governing Council. Clause 6, powers of the Governing Council. Clause 7, appointment of the Director General. Clause 8, appointment of the Secretary and other staff of the Center. Clause 9, staff regulation. Clause 14, award of contracts. Clause 17, annual estimates, accounts and audit. Clause 18, quarterly report. Clause 19, annual report. Clause 23, powers of the minister to give directives. Clause 24, regulations. The conference committee considered and harmonized the differences in the bill clause by clause and do recommend that the report be approved. Mr. President, I'd like to also commend you for all the support you've given the committee to get this report to this stage.
The conference committee considered and harmonized the differences in the bill clause by clause and do recommend that the report be approved. Those in favor of the motion that this conference committee report be approved, say aye. Aye. Those against, any, the ayes have it.
With this, the report was approved. Also considered was the request of President Muhammadu Buhari for Senate confirmation of 4 nominees as members to represent the private sector on the Universal Service Provision Board. The nominees include Engineer Funke Opeke, Mr. Ahmad Abubakar Walama, Mrs. Fatima A. Kyari, as well as Engineer Benga Adebayo. The request was laid and presented through a letter on the 29th of March 2023, following which it was referred to the Senate Committee on Communications, chaired by Senator Oluremi Tinubu. After screening 3 of the nominees, the report of the committee was presented by Vice Chairman of the committee, Senator Ibrahim Bomei, on behalf of the chairman.
The professional and educational experiences of the nominees will contribute immensely to the development of the communication sector in Nigeria. Vetting inquiries conducted on the nominees to ascertain their competence, credibility, stability for appointment as the representative of private sector in the Board of Universal Service Provision were favorable. One of the nominees, Engineer Funke Opeke, was unavoidably absent due to pre-scheduled medicals outside the country. The committee, after exhaustive deliberations and scrutiny of the CVs and other supporting documents of the 3 nominees, and having satisfied their qualification and experiences, hereby recommend that the Senate do confirm the 3 nominees, namely Mr. Ahmed Abubakar Walama, Mrs. Fatima A. Kyari, and Engineer Benga Adebayo.
One comment was taken in favor of the report.
From the report here, these 3 nominees have outstanding pedigrees. They do not have anything that may be said to be adverse against them. In view of the recommendation of this committee, I urge the Senate to give its nod for the confirmation of these nominees as requested. I so submit.
This paved the way for the consideration of the report in the Committee of the Whole, after which the question was put.
Will the Senate approve the nomination of Ahmed Abubakar Walama as a member of the Universal Service Provision USP Board? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Mrs. Fatima A. Kyari as a member of the Universal Service Provision Board? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Engineer Benga Adebayo as a member of the Universal Service Provision Board? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
As a result, 3 of the nominees were confirmed, while the screening of Engineer Funke Opeke was slated for another day.
That was a report of some of the conference committee reports considered by the Senate. In addition to this, several bills emanating from the House of Representatives were presented for Senate concurrence. They include Investment and Securities Bill 2023, Federal Audit Service Bill 2022, Federal College of Horticulture, Ikibwe, Imo State Establishment Bill 2022. Some bills originating from the House of Representatives were also presented for first reading. Amongst them are Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2023, Evidence Act Amendment Bill 2023, Federal College of Education Unduo Edo Eket Establishment Bill 2023, Broadcasting Practitioners Establishment Bill 2023, as well as Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission Amendment Bill 2023. Also considered by the Senate were some bills already passed by the Senate and House of Representatives transmitted to the Clerk of the National Assembly for onward transmission to the President and Commander-in-Chief for his assent. However, while considering the bills for assent, the Presidency observed some fundamental issues which require fresh legislative action by both chambers of the National Assembly.
Observes that some fundamental issues which require fresh legislative action by both chambers of the National Assembly emerged after a critical analysis of the bills by the legal department. Aware that a technical committee of the Senate and House of Representatives and the Directorate of Legal Services met and worked on the bills, relying on Order 1 subsection B and the Order 52 subsection 6 of Senate Standing Order 2022 as amended, accordingly resolves to resign its decision on the bills as passed and recommit same to the Committee of the Whole for reconsideration and passage.
The bills include Federal College of Agriculture Technical Ogboibiri, Bayelsa State Establishment Bill 2023, Arbitration and Mediation Bill 2023, National Youth Service Corps Trust Fund Establishment Bill 2023, Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Amendment Bill 2023, Customs and Excise Management Act 2004 Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2023, Institute of Environmental Practitioners of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2023, as well as Federal College of Dental Technology and Therapy Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2023. The bills were recommitted to the Committee of the Whole, considered and passed again.
Those against say nay, the ayes have it.
The program is inside the Senate. The Senate President recently received the management team of the National Assembly Service Commission, led by their chairman, Engineer Ahmad Kadi Amshi. Details of issues discussed is captured in our next report as compiled and presented from our studio.
National Assembly is about the entire family of the National Assembly.
In his welcome address, Senate President Ahmad Lawan commended the National Assembly Service Commission for demonstrating high level of commitment to staff training, the outcome of which is the provision of a conducive atmosphere and motivation required for superlative performance. He added that the achievement by the 9th Senate could not have been possible without the excellent contribution by staff occasioned by the polish they have acquired through training.
We think we have done so well working with you. We think we have done so well working between the two chambers of the National Assembly, and we think we have done so well working with the letter of government and in fact, the outcomes are there for everybody to see. Whatever we would have achieved wouldn't have been achieved without the National Assembly Service Commission and the staff of the National Assembly. In fact, the staff have been very, very wonderful, very, very supportive, and we believe that this is the kind of staff that we should always have, and we also, as an assembly, as a commission, need to continue to give the staff the kind of motivation that they need.
He then advocated for more motivation for the staff, without which efficient and effective functioning of the National Assembly cannot be achieved.
So it is in the interest of us, members of the National Assembly, and indeed the country, that the National Assembly Service Commission functions well, that it provides the services that are required of it for the benefit of all in the National Assembly ecosystem.
Speaking earlier, the chairman of the National Assembly Service Commission, Engineer Ahmad Kadi Amshi, said that the National Assembly Service Commission, in addition to other activities, has in the last 3 years placed high premium on the training of its staff members as well as legislative aids alongside interparliamentary excursions, both at home and abroad, hence the successes it has recorded.
The Commission has developed a training manual for the service, and this is being implemented accordingly. Appropriate capacity building trainings have been undertaken to ensure that the staff are kept up to date on their callings.
Highlight of the visit was the presentation of a document containing information about the activities of the Commission to the Senate President.
Thank you very much.
Coming next is the profile segment. Stay tuned for our Senator of the Week.
Senator Ibrahim Abdullahi Dambaba represents Sokoto South Senatorial District of Sokoto State, first under PDP before defecting to the APC. He attended Government Secondary School Gusau for his West African School Certificate WASC in 1973. He also attended Advanced Teachers College Sokoto for his National Certificate of Education in 1976. From there, he obtained a Bachelor of Science degree in Management from the University of Sokoto, now Usman Danfodio University, in 1981, and got an advanced diploma in accounting at the Luton College of Higher Education in the United Kingdom. He held many management and administrative positions in the Sokoto State Civil Service for 35 years before retiring in 2013 to join politics. Senator Dambaba contested elections to the Senate in the 2015 general elections and represented Sokoto South Senatorial District till 2019. He also contested in the 2019 general elections but was not declared winner, consequent upon which he sought remedy in a court of law which ruled in his favor. He was sworn in as a senator on the 19th of November 2019. Senator Ibrahim Abdullahi Dambaba is a recipient of the National Award of the Commander of the Order of the Niger, CON. His legislative interests include education, agriculture, and economy.
This brings us to the end of this week's edition of Inside the Senate. Join us next week for another edition. Thanks for watching and do stay safe.